President Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu are meeting tonight amid ongoing discussions of a potential ceasefire in Gaza. So, what hangs in the balance? Dan Senor, former top foreign policy advisor to Mitt Romney, joins me here in the Conversation Corner as I amble over across the studio. My trusty set of stagehands. Move the big touchscreen. Dan, always a pleasure to see you. For my
Good to be with you, Major.
For my audience, lay out the top 1, 2, or 3 things to keep an eye on for this meeting between Netanyahu and President Trump.
One, what kind of progress is made on a hostage and ceasefire deal? There are negotiations happening right now in Doha. Steve Witkoff has indicated that at the end of this week, he'll be heading over there. I think they are pretty close to a deal that would allow for a 60-day ceasefire and the return of approximately 10 living Israeli hostages and around 18 of dead hostages, deceased, killed hostages, their bodies. Obviously, release of some Palestinian prisoners from Israeli prisons, as we've seen in the past. But the real question is this a path to the end of the war in the course of that 60 days? Is Israel going to actually leave Gaza or maintain some security presence there? And who will ultimately be responsible for administering civilian affairs in Gaza? And will Hamas somehow stay in the mix? Those are the sticking points that if they can resolve those, I think you'll see a deal. So that's one thing to look for. The second thing to look for is whether or not there is any signal about the expansion of the Abraham Accords. The region is being transformed. Israel's geopolitical position in the Middle East, after what Israel just did and the U.S. just did in Iran, Israel's position is stronger than I think it's ever been, going back all the way to the Six-Day War in 1967. So could you see other Arab countries now joining the Abraham Accords, normalizing relations with Israel? I think we may see signs of that with Syria or possibly other countries. And then finally, Iran. Israel is seeking the option to take further military action against Iran if Israel and the U.S. deem that Iran is still trying to revive its nuclear program. And so I think ceasefire deal for 60 days, possible expansion of the Abraham Accords, and Israel having the flexibility to go back in Iran. Those are the 3 issues to look at over the next few days.
And Dan, from your perspective, where does humanitarian assistance to the non-Hamas combatants, the civilians in Gaza, stand?
Look, Israel wants to provide, and Israel's made clear that it wants to provide more humanitarian assistance into Gaza. Obviously, there's the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation that's operating inside Gaza. The
Mixed
question
results, though,
is,
for sure.
Can Israel do it? And can Israel create this corridor for it to be done where Hamas doesn't take over? This gets to the nub of the issue about whether or not Hamas remains in power in some way or maintains some kind of presence. Israel's arguing that it can create a humanitarian corridor, but to do that, A, Israel needs to be there to some degree. It has to have some presence to do that. And B, Hamas has to be gone. And unless those 2 conditions are met, it's very hard for these humanitarian, projects and programs to be unleashed in full throttle in Gaza without there being a lot of violence and with Hamas not taking a lot of the humanitarian supplies and using it for their own effect.
Dan, it probably, to you, strains credulity. It certainly does to me that Hamas would negotiate its way out of existence.
It's bizarre. It's a zero-sum game, and that's what honestly, Major, this is what makes these negotiations so challenging, right? Because it is a zero-sum game. Israel wants the war to end. They want their hostages back, and they want Hamas gone. Hamas wants to somehow have this war end and remain in power. Now, normally in negotiations between 2 parties in any kind of a geopolitical setting, you can imagine like a middle ground, some sort of accommodation where both sides can claim a win. There's no way both sides can claim a win here. Either Hamas is in power or has a presence in Gaza or not. And I think Israel is willing to make major concessions in Gaza right now, especially after the win it has had in Iran. It's reshaping the region. So I think it has a real inflection point here to make concessions. But the one concession this Israeli government will not make, I believe, is letting Hamas remain in power. And so the real question is, can each side fool the other and let the other believe that they're getting really what they want, when in reality, it's a non-starter for the other party.
Wouldn't be the first time that was attempted in the Middle East. Dan Senor, I appreciate the time very much. Thank you.
Thanks, Major.